This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, so hi and hello everyone. Greetings of the day, and I hope that I'm audible clearly and my voice is also clear. So, before we start, I'd like to have to know about each other very quickly. Like, if someone of you can unmute themselves and let me know about like from which part of this globe you guys are joining here, and like what is the main purpose. So, like maybe like Dipti or Chandrasekhar, anyone please, if they can unmute themselves. Anyone else who want to, introduce themselves? Okay, then we'll just start very quickly. So this is the demo session for API testing, and it's not only covering the automation of API, but the manual part as well, which is basically the postman and the requests. Let me quickly share the course content which I have with me right now. So I'm going to share my screen, and please let me know if anyone is not able to see my screen. I'm just about to share. So I have just now shared my screen. If anyone is not able to see my screen, they can let me know. Okay, cool. So this is basically the course content for the API testing, and this is going to cover all the relatable things related to API, the automation of API, the different types of API. So we are going to start with the introduction of APIs, where we are going to see like what exactly an API is and what are the advantages of the API testing. There is a lot of confusions between API and web services, like what exactly web service is and what is API. So we are also going to cover all those things in this course. Also, we are going to see about different types of APIs. Although this course is basically related to REST APIs, but still I'll give you an overview for SOAP APIs as well as GraphQL APIs as well. And then we'll move to Postman basics very quickly, and then we'll see how we can do the installation of Postman and the setup of Postman. Everything we are going to cover related to Postman in that part. All the basics of the Postman we are going to see, the UI, POV, like what are the different methods which we can use in Postman, what are the collections, environments, and we are going to understand about request, response, the components of request also we are going to see in details, and the components of response also we are going to see in details. Moving further, we will be knowing about HTTP methods, like what exactly HTTP methods are. There are a lot of HTTP methods in terms of APIs. We need to see about them because this is the backbone of API testing. And then we will be moving to like deep depth information about collections and environments, where we are going to see about how we can, like what else we can do with the collections. It's not only about the a bunch of APIs or endpoints, but we can also execute the collections. We can do a lot of changes in collections. We can create some fork. So a lot of things are there in the API which we are going to see in the further sessions. Till now we are only going with the postman part, and once we are completed with postman part, basically like this also contains all the advanced techniques in the postman, whatever we can perform, not only with the postman, but how we can run the APIs using the newman, which is basically the command line interface for a postman. So we are also going to cover those things as well in this course. And then we'll move to the API automation, like how we can automate the APIs. So we are going to quickly move to the API automation, and the language which we are going to use for this will be Python. So basically for Python, the tool which we use to automate the APIs is requests. And if anyone is working with Java, Then the tool which we use to automate the API is rest assured. Basically, this course is intended to work with the request, and the language will be Python. So if someone is from a non-IT background or like non-technical background who don't have any knowledge on the programming languages, not a single knowledge on any kind of programming language like Java, Python, on any language, no need to worry, because we are going to cover the Python. We are going to start from the very basics part, and then gradually we will be increasing our knowledge in the Python as well. So it's not only about the API testing, but we are also going to cover the Python basics as well as oops concept and some of the most advanced features which can be used during the automation of APIs. And then I'll be introducing you the request, like what exactly request is it a tool, technology, or a library? What exactly that is, how we can make use of request with Python to automate the APIs. And whatever we have seen, like whatever we will be seeing into the postman part, like sending the request, getting the response, validating the results. So all those things we are also going to see in automation part, like in the request part. So we are also going to write the test scripts, we are going to validate everything, and at last we will be dealing with the framework, like if any in any company, if you're working, obviously a framework is the backbone for any project. In terms of testing or development, doesn't matter, but if the framework is not there, there will be a lot of difficulties. So we are going to see how we can create a framework and how we can use the framework as well. It's not only about the usage, but we are also going to see how we can create a framework. And that framework is going to contain different aspects of the different aspects of the ways that we can automate the APIs. It's not going to be a very simple framework. It is going to contain the simple test scripts, it's going to contain the POM model also. It will be having the HTML report generation, not only one, but we will be seeing like how we can generate the PyTest HTML as well as the Allure PyTest report also. So a lot of things will be there in the framework part, and this framework part will be purely based on the professional working. So it's not like just for practice, but the framework which we are going to develop, that same framework, we can make use of that framework in any project in any company. Then we'll be quickly move to Git and GitHub part. Like we are going to see how we can move our code to the repository. Basically, like we are going to see in the depth knowledge in the later sessions. Basically, GitHub is a place where we are also where we are going to store all our codes, whatever we have written in our request with Python. So we will be seeing like how we can store the code in terms of technicals. It's called push. So like we'll be seeing like how we can push the code, we can pull the code, how we can merge them. So a lot of things will be there in the GitHub session as well. And this GitHub session will not only be related to request, but once you have understood the GitHub, you can apply this Git and GitHub things to any other technologies like Selenium, Appium, Cypress, Rest Assured. If in any other tools and technologies are working, this Git and GitHub session is going to be very helpful. And at last, we are going to also see this Jenkins part, like how we can run our request code over the server. So this is going to be very interesting. And who for for one person this course is intended to be there. So basically, if any person is a tester, QA analyst, or automation test engineer, not only the testing POV, but if anyone is developer, they can join this course. If anyone is from the non-IT part, who is wants to come into the IT field, and they wants to start from the API testing, or like if they are getting any opportunity to work with the APIs, so this course is going to very beneficial for them. So if anyone is having any queries related, feel free to ask me about the course content.
Yeah, so just want to check what is the duration of each topic that you have
Yeah, so
explained.
basically the duration doesn't work with each topic. Sorry, just a second. Yeah. So basically, just a second, everyone. Yeah. So basically, the duration is not based on the each topic, but it's a whole duration of 35 to 40 hours. So it's a, it's a full-fledged course which is going to cover everything related to APIs, not only the postman part, not only the manual part, but the automation part as well. So the total duration will be 35 to 40 hours.
So in Git, you also explain about the rebase and like revert, or if you want to have some
Everything will
changes
be
in
there
state.
related to, yes, everything like rebase will be there, cherry pick will be there, push will be there, pulling will be there, cloning the repo will be there, creating a repo will be there, merging the code, merging the conflicts, everything is going to be there, whatever is related to Git and GitHub. And we are
So
not
about
only
the
going to use, yeah, please.
yeah about the hands-on, I mean, while the session is going on, we will be doing something, or
Assignments will be
how
given,
does it?
assignments will be given to, like whatever the, like if there is any, big topic, for every big topic, there will be one assignment will be given to you guys to, work on and practice on that.
No. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Molly. Yeah, please. Naima, please, you can.
Hi, this is Pravina. So,
Yeah.
is the classes gonna be like every day or once a week? How is the schedule?
So it's going to be, 5 days a week, and Saturday, Sunday will be off.
Okay, okay. And will it be like job ready kind of hands-on course where we finish this course, we will be like more understandable? Like if I get a job where I need to be an API tester, will I be job ready to understand how do I execute, where do I find the repositories and all?
Obviously, like this course is not only for the interview purpose, and basically it's not for the interview purpose. If I'm telling you frankly, it's for the job ready as it said. Because everything whatever we are going to see, we are going to see as a practical aspects. Like whatever I'm making you understand, everything will be there practically in front of you, and the same thing, the same process you also need to do with your system.
Okay. Anywhere gonna touch on browser stack or source labs?
No, basically like no one uses browser stacks or sourceless for API testing. The main purpose of browser stack or source lab is to provide the different devices models, correct? So those are basically API testing. Nothing to do with
Okay.
any kind of device.
Okay. So is APM included in this course?
No, APM is different thing. So APM is basically mobile testing, mobile automation testing.
Yes, yes. Okay. I think I got confused with the some description or something. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, so for APM, browser stack or source labs we use, but for API testing we don't use, these kind of platforms.
Yeah. Totally makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pravina. Anyone else who wants to, clarify anything related to this course?
Hey, Sanjay, this is Mahesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm from a non-programming background. So how much Python and coding is required for this?
Yeah, so for API testing, very minimum use of Python is required, but still in my course, I'm going to, teach you from the scratch of the Python programming language to the advanced model. Just because like while creating the logics like while creating the logics for validation in APIs, we should be having at least a little bit knowledge of the good um, like for good logic we need to have a good knowledge in the advanced Python. So I'm going to cover it. Let me just share my screen. I'll just show you one thing. So basically, if you can see in my screen for Pythons, I'm starting from downloading the Python, setting up everything till the exception handling. So a lot of things will be there, and if you are from a non-technical background, you no need to be worried. Everything will be covered in the Python as well. So it's not like that anyone needs to have some basic knowledge already, like prior knowledge on the programming language. It's not required.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, I do have, I'm from IT background only, but yeah, it's a non-programming background. So okay, fine, thanks.
Yeah,
Hi,
that's good. That's good.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I can see that you're going to show a project. So I believe that you are working or worked in API. So are you going to show the project, the one you, sorry, about that, the one you have used in your work area?
Okay, so the thing is, you have a very good question, but obviously, as like in which project I am working, that is totally confidential. So, like no one can share the client's information,
No,
correct?
definitely not. I'm saying that, like, is it going
Mhm.
to be the way you have used that, that the
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct,
so
correct. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, obviously.
okay,
The
great.
way which I'm using, like as a test lead engineer, the way which I have learned in so many of years in the past years, I'm going to show you the exact same way which I'm using.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, the same logic, the same validations. What are the different scenarios which we need to test in API? Everything I'm going to show you, just based
Okay,
on the real time experience. It's not a book based experience.
okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, please. Anyone else?
Yeah, just want to check. Usually, when we do some, so they have some dummy sites where we don't need authentication tokens or multi-factor authentication. So these will be used. So in this API testing, we will be covering those scenarios as well.
Everything will be covered. Everything will be covered. We're also going to use the authentication tokens, although that will be always a demo site only, but still I'm going to show you in real time like how we can, use the authentication token. The demo site will be there, but practically we will be using the authentication token. It's not that I will just simply say you and then I'll just stop. It's not like that.
So
I'll
it
just show
has
you.
a multi-factor authentication involved. So you use
Yeah.
those sites?
Yeah, everything like MFA is also there.
No. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else? Okay. If we are good, if no one is having any doubts, if anyone is having doubts, yeah, Mahesh, I think you are having a doubt.
Oh, no, no, I'm sorry, I just raised down my hand, so no.
Oh yeah, no worries, no worries.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, since you asked me, so will you be touching anything related to curl?
Sorry.
Curl,
Yeah, curl.
curl
So basically,
commands.
like curl, yeah, yeah, curl commands. Yeah, if you want, I can just cover it, but because it's a very small and little topic, so we can also cover that.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay then. So if no questions are there, no doubts are there, I hope my screen is already visible. So I'll just give a quick recap. So the part one will be consisting of the postman. So this is going to, completely based on the postman, how we can manually test the APIs. And although it's a manual part, but still let me tell you one thing, we're still going to write some test scripts there in the JavaScript language. So for that very minimum, like 20 to 30% knowledge of JavaScript is required, which I'm also going to cover, So whatever the test cases we are going to write, that will be in the form of JavaScript language. Okay, so we are also going to see that it's not only about that we will be getting the response and then we have to do manually. No, manual testing we'll be doing, and a semi kind of semi automation kind of testing we're also going to perform in the postman. And this request will be 100% API automation. Nothing will be manual. Everything will be related to automation part only. Okay. So if we are good, if no doubts are related to course content, then we can quickly start for our today's demo session. Okay, cool. So if everyone is good, I'm just going to start. So we are going to see about API testing. Yeah, one more thing which I just forgot to inform you. At the end of this session, I'm going to provide you everything. Like, you can see this PPT file, correct? So this PowerPoint file, this is a kind of, pre-ready notes, which contains everything. So in case if you are attending the classes, but let's say that after a few days or few months, if you forget anything or if you want to recall the things, you don't need to watch the videos again. Although like videos will be there with you as well. But this thing, this thing is cool. It will contain everything. You see. So this PPT is going to be provided to you at the end of the session, and this will be containing everything, each and everything. It's a kind of interview POV. I have prepared this PPT, as well as if you are working and if you want to if you are stuck in somewhere, you can take the help of this PPT as well. Okay, it's going to contain all the theoretical part as well as all the practical parts as well. Okay, like how we can set up the postman, how we can set up the Python, how we can set up the request. Everything is there in this PPT. How we can integrate our code with Jenkins, everything will be there. Okay, so this PPT I'm going to provide you. You can use it as a notes, cheat sheet, whatever you want to use, you can just use it in a various ways. And what are the coding, what are the programming part, when it's come to programming part, I'm going to provide you that file as well at the end of the session. So whatever we are going to automate the APIs using the request and Python programming language at the end of this session, I'm going to provide you that as well. Yep. So okay, starting now. So basically this is the course for API testing. We are going to use Python language, and this will be purely based for manual as well as automation. And let's start with the introduction of the APIs. So basically we need to know like what exactly an API is. So API stands for Application Programming Interface. Now, what exactly this is? If you know, have you ever, what it like whenever you are logging into your Facebook account? So what you are doing exactly? You are providing your username and password, and then you are simply clicking on the login button. What next? What happens then next? Just a few seconds later, you will get your dashboard in your system, in your screen, how that dashboard is coming up there. So basically, when you provided your username and password, and then when you clicked on the login button, what just happened? One API has been sent to the Facebook server. Okay, so let me just do one thing very quickly. So I have my whiteboard ready. So here, let's see. So this is the Facebook. Okay, and here you're providing the username and password, everything you're providing here. And this is the Facebook server. This is the Facebook server. Now, once you have provided the username and password, and then you clicked on the login button, what happens is one signal is going to this Facebook server. Basically, that signal is API. Basically, that signal is API, which is going to this Facebook server. And then this Facebook server is going to validate your details, like whether you have provided the correct username and correct password or not. So once your details are validated, once the Facebook sees that okay, yeah, this username and password combination is correct, then again this Facebook sends a signal back which contains your dashboard page. That signal which is Facebook sending you the back to your system, that contains the dashboard page, and that is also an API. That is also an API. Now the thing is, the API which we have sent is known as request, and the API which we have received from the server is known as response. Well, we are going to understand everything in depth details about request, response. I just given you an overview. I hope that most of you people are already having, an overview on API testing, but still, I want to start from the scratch. If someone is from a non-technical background, if someone is from a, a non-programming background, non-IT background, I don't want to make them confused. So I will be just starting from the beginning. And that's why I just taken that very simple example, which we have all used this Facebook thing, correct? So providing the values, sending this value in form of a signal to the Facebook server or any server, and then getting some response. So this is basically the API part. Now coming back to my PPT. So API stands for, application programming interface, and what it says, think of it as a bridge. Correct, that's what I just shown you. Think of it as a bridge that allows two different software applications to talk with each other. Correct, what are those two different software applications? So in my case, when, you know if I'm providing the username password, obviously I'm providing my username password in my Chrome browser. Okay, whether it be mobile, whether it be a tab, whether it be a laptop or desktop, I'm providing that thing in a, in a browser, correct, or in an application. So basically that is also an application. Browser is also an application, and a simple application is also an application. So this is the application number one. And then this Facebook server, so whatever we call it, server, database, from wherever we are getting the response, that is the application number two. Basically this API acts as a bridge, between these two applications. Okay, so in real time we know that if a person is here, he can go to another place using a bridge, and if a person is here, he can also go to this place using the bridge. In the same way, the request is going through this API bridge to Facebook server, and then the response is coming through this API bridge to our system. So basically it's a bridge between two different kind of applications to talk with each other. Okay, we asked for something, we got something, correct? By giving the username and password, we asked for dashboard, our dashboard, like, yeah, please give me my dashboard, and we got the dashboard, correct? It defines a set of rules about how request and response should be structured, so both sides understand each other. So as I told you, that's why I just given you a very, little bit of overview of request and response right now. Why? Because API is a bridge, but that particular bridge will define the rules. Like, okay, in which form the request should be, and in which form the response should be. Okay, because if this request is not in the correct form, what will happen? Our Facebook server will not be able to understand that, okay, what this user wants. And if this response is not in the correct format, what will happen? My system or my laptop will not be able to understand, like, okay, what dashboard or what I need to show. Right? So this API will decide, the rules of API will decide, like, okay, in this way the request will be there, and in this way the response will be there. Okay, the rules this API is going to decide. So let's take one more example, and very simple example, like, user friendly example. For example, if we went to a restaurant, and if we are hungry, we want food, what we used to do, we don't go to the kitchen, correct? We will be asking to waiter, we'll be giving him the order. So this waiter is basically the API. This waiter is basically the API. Okay, and you are the system one. This waiter is the API, and whatever the order you have given, that order is the request. Correct? Very simple layman language, like that order is the request. Now this API will take that request to the kitchen, and basically that kitchen is the server. Where some process will be happening. For example, in our case, what was happening? The validation of your username and password was happening, correct? So in the same way, in the server, some process will be happening, and then that API will take the food for you, correct? That API will take the food for you. So based on your request, the API has taken back a response. In the same way, based on your request, like whatever you were asking to this server has given one response. You have asked to log in, and the server has given you access to log in and shown you the dashboard. Correct? So this is the one of the most common example, okay, of API. And basically, obviously, like we are not going to go inside the kitchen, correct? We will be waiting for the waiter to communicate with us, correct? In the same way, if we try to log in with the username password for Facebook, obviously we are not going to mark the Zuckerberg that, oh, hi, why I'm not able to log in, correct? We need to wait for the API to come with a response. And if your username and password is correct, you will get a dashboard page. It means the correct order. And if your username and password is incorrect or some validation got failed, you will not get a dashboard page. You will get you will get some other thing. In the same way, the same analogy is here. So if you have given the correct order, you will get the correct response, correct food. But if you have given the incorrect order, obviously the kitchen will give you the incorrect food, correct, based on your request. So this is how the API works. Although we are going to see in-depth knowledge of the architecture of the API, if I'll show you later in this PPT, we are going to see like what exactly is client-server architecture, advantages of API. So a lot of things are there. So we are going to see everything. And as you can see here, we don't need to directly access the server. We can simply send a request to the API and it will take the response back. So I hope that I have given a very good example and a very good explanation on the API, like what exactly an API is. Let's see one more example very quickly. So you all have weather app in your mobile. What exactly happens there? So basically, an API is there which is going to fetch the weather details, whether it be temperature, humidity. So an API is working there. So it's fetching the weather details and showing in your application. That is also done with the help of the API. For example, Ixigo. So basically, those who don't know, Ixigo is an application with the help of what you can book the flights. What exactly happens is you can book your flights using the APIs. How? Whenever you are searching for any particular flight in the Ixigo, what happens? It will show you all the availabilities of all the airlines and the seat availabilities. How come it become possible? Because Ixigo has got the APIs from all the airlines. So for example, if you will go to Vistara airline directly, you will only get the flight details of Vistara Airlines. If you will go to Indigo Airlines directly, you will only get the details of Indigo Airlines. But this Ixigo has a tie-up with all the airlines, and what it does, it has asked the APIs like, okay, Vistara, you also give me your API, and Indigo, you also give me your API. Now, if any user is searching for any flight, what it will do, it will also use the API of Vistara, and it will also use the API of Indigo, and then it will give you both the details, Okay, this is how API works. This is how API works. So I hope that we are pretty much good with the API part. If any queries, any doubts are there related to exactly what an API is, please feel free to ask me. Okay, I think we are good with that. So moving, like why API testing is required? Correct? Like we already have the UI testing. We already have the UI testing. Then why this API testing is required? Correct? So for that, I'll just directly jump to this page and I'll show you, and then I'll go to that diagram. So basically, these are the advantages of API testing because of which we require API testing. The very first thing is faster execution. So, for example, if you have an application, correct? For let's take the example of Facebook only. So you have the Facebook application. Obviously, when the Facebook is giving you the response, what is happening? That response need to be shown on the screen in form of dashboard. Okay, that response need to be shown in the form in the form of dashboard on your screen, and that change will take some time. Like your response will be changed into some HTML code, and then only it will be shown on the dashboard, correct? Then only you can see your dashboard in the screen. But in case of APIs, we'll be getting a simple JSON file. So for those who don't know about JSON file, no need to worry. So we are going to see that thing also in the later sessions. Okay, basically just try to understand that it's a kind of written text. For as of now, just try to understand that it's a kind of written text, but in some with some rules and regulations. Okay, so in API the execution is faster. So in UI testing, what will happen? You need to wait for a little more time to dashboard for loading. But in API, you will get some values in JSON files, or sometimes it's also in HTML file, sometimes it's in text file. A lot of things are there. We are going to cover in the later sessions. So we can validate directly there, and it will not take time. It will not take time. So this is why API testing is good when it comes about faster execution. Now one more thing. Usually what happens, the APIs are built before the UI. Okay, in 80% of cases, this is the main thing. The APIs are already ready before the UI is there. So what you can do, earlier bug detection. If you are already tested the APIs, you can get the bugs in the early phases only, correct? In the early phases only, you can get the bugs. So yeah, okay, this is the bug with your API. We are not getting our dashboard. If you got this issue, like okay, I'm providing the correct username, correct password, but still I'm not getting the dashboard. So if you found this bug while the API testing only, it will save a lot of time, correct? Because UI development will take some time. After that, you will test the UI, then you will find this bug. So to reduce the time, we can make use of API. Okay. So once if you have tested the API, basically you have tested 70% of the functionality of UI as well. Then you have tested the 70% of the functionality of UI as well, at least if you have tested the API. Better test coverage is there, correct? So what we can do is, in API we can test a lot of things, all the possible functionalities and validations we can test. But in UI, obviously we all know that UI is having some limitations. We cannot test each and everything in UI with the help of automation. But for with the API automation, we can test each and every functionality. Okay. And the most good part is it is independent from any technologies. Like you don't need to be worried about improved reliability. Since API test focus on the core functionality, okay? Basically, whenever you are doing an API test, you are not testing the UI part. What you are doing exactly is you are basically testing the functionality. Like in this case, we were testing the login functionality, correct? Like, okay, if I have given the correct credentials, whether I am able to log in or not, correct? So this is how you can test all the functionality part in the API. And one more thing, the reason being why I'm being very slow right now to make you understand all these things, because most of you people may be new to the APIs, very new to the APIs. That's why I'm taking some time. I'm gradually, increasing the concepts. I'm taking some time to make you understand the API and the advantage of APIs. Okay, because I want everyone, whether they will be experienced person or a fresher or new to API testing, they should understand the advantages clearly. Then only they will be able to understand each and everything in the later sessions. So, and easy automation. Look, API automation is the most easiest automation till date in my POV. If you are doing UI automation, you need to build a lot of logics. A lot of things will be there. But in API automation, it's pretty much straightforward. If you know the correct rules, if you know the correct technique, which I'm going to show you in this session in the later parts. Okay, if you know the correct techniques, correct rules, it's a very easy thing which you can do. And then at last, security testing. So basically this is the last one, but not the least one. This is the most important aspect of API testing. Why? Because look, if there are hackers, they are not going to open your Facebook login page, and then they are not going to simply provide the username and password and then click on login button and then waiting that, okay, oh, do I have hacked this person's account or not? No, they are not going to. The hackers don't know UI. They are not going to UI anyway. But if any hacker will get the access to API, if any hacker, unethical hacker will get the access to API, he can manipulate this API. He can manipulate this API, even he can log into your account as well. So most of the companies who cares about the security of their application, most of the companies who cares about the security.
Sanjeev, I think your voice is dropping. Maybe it is just for me or everyone else.
Yeah, it's
Testing what I have.
very.
I'm sorry. Is this for
Sorry.
everyone else or? Yeah, Sanjeev,
Sorry, I'm audible clearly.
yeah, actually, it looks like your audio got dropped for a bit. I'm just checking, is it just for me or everyone?
It's
Okay,
for
right
me
now is
too.
it good?
It's
Yeah,
good.
it's for
It's
everyone,
good.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's fine.
There may be a chance. Yeah. Okay. If we are good right now, we can just continue again. Okay.
Yeah, now you're
So
sorry.
I hope that I hope that I can start with security testing then. I believe so.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Thank you so much. Okay. So I was saying like this security testing is the last option here, but not the least option. So basically, if you are testing the API, you are making sure that your API is secure, your application is secure. Why I'm saying that? Okay, again, it's saying poor network connection. Like whenever if you feel like my voice is breaking, please let me know. No worries for that. Okay, so if there is any hacker, unethical hacker, if he wants to hack your account, he is not going to UI. He is not going to Facebook UI, Facebook login page, and then he is not going to provide the username, trial password, and then click on the login button. He's not going to do that. They don't know UI. What exactly is UI? is? They don't know those things. They deal with APIs to hack anything. They probably deal with APIs. So, for example, if any hacker will get the access to a particular API, if any hacker will get the access to this Facebook API, and if he also knows about some authentication process with that API, what is going to happen? They can hack your account. That is the reason API testing is done to check the security of that API as well. Like, okay, the perfect authentication is working fine or not. Okay, I believe my network got dropped again, but now it's good again. No issues. Okay. So basically, yeah, if we are testing the API, it means we are testing the security of the application. And I'm telling you this thing because right now I worked in a in a security company. In a security company, I worked with a cyber security company, and I know what kind of regression testing we do with the APIs, all the scenarios, every aspect we do with the regression testing with the APIs, because we need to make sure the company who cares about the security of their application, they will be testing the API for sure. So basically, yes, we can check the authentication, authorization, whether it is authenticating the API by giving the incorrect values. We're going to see everything there. Okay, so this is basically all about security testing as well. So now we have seen a lot of things today, like what exactly an API is and what are the advantages of API. So I quickly jump to this page, but we'll be going one by one. Okay. So the last 10 minutes will be for QA and round. So if anyone is having any queries related to today's demo session, like related to course content or related to what exactly is an API is or advantages of API, please feel free to ask me. Yeah, please.
So did you say that we will need to learn some JavaScript, but in which specific topic are we going to use JavaScript?
So basically in JavaScript, we are not going to use much depth knowledge of the JavaScript, because when we are, writing the test scripts for API testing in Postman, only, chai assertions is required. Only chai assertions is basically required in from JavaScript. So that will be sufficient, and I'm going to cover that as well for you.
Sorry, can you repeat the last phrase? What only what is it going to be required? JavaScript? I didn't understand. Sorry.
Uh, sorry, the network again got dropped. Sorry for that. Can you please come back?
I just said that I didn't understand the last two phrases that you said.
Oh yeah, because the network got dropped. So what I'm saying, we are going to use the JavaScript also in the Postman to test the APIs, test the response, validate, write some test scripts, but not 100% of JavaScript is required there. Only 20 to 30% of JavaScript part is required there. Basically the chai assertion. So there is something called chai assertions in JavaScript, and we are going to use those things in our Postman test scripts to validate the response in every aspect.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm going to train you guys on that part also, because as I told you, like, it's not only about the manual part. We're also going to do some semi kind of automation in Postman as well. Any further queries? Any further doubts?
Yeah, I had a query. Like actually, what is the framework we are going to use? Like actually in Python, they're having different type of frameworks, right? Like actually data-driven, keyword-driven, or hybrid. Okay, similar way.
So basically, like, we are going to use a framework which is going to, helpful with the PyTest and the POM model. And obviously the data driven thing will be there. If we want to use something from the Excel file, we can use that. We will be using that. Not only the Excel file, but the JSON
Okay.
file also we are going to integrate with our framework.
Okay. So we're going to use the PyTest framework, right? There.
Yeah, obviously, PyTest framework will be there for that.
Okay.
And which
So the
contains,
JSON.
which is going to contain a lot of, different features.
Okay. So the request will be static. Okay. From there, like actually, we are just altering the data,
Yeah,
right,
for
in the
JSON,
PyTest.
like, we are going to read the JSON file as well. We are going to read the Excel file as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Sanjay, I have a quick question over here. Um, would you be covering, how to parse the response output, and what are the ways to parse the response output and how to interpret or something like that?
I'm really sorry, guys. Due to some network issue, it got dropped again.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Yeah. The question what I have is, would you be covering the response interpretation, or maybe how to parse the response output or something in such
We are going to
nature?
see. We are going. Yeah, we are going to see, like, how we can pass a different request in our test script within the test script. Like, for example, we don't need a new request to create in the Postman. In the test script only, we are going to pass the request body, the new request, and whatever the response we are going to get there, we are going to validate that as well in the test script only.
Understood. Thanks.
Yeah. Any
So is
other
the demo session
questions from
over,
me?
or is the demo session over, or is it? Can you ask general questions or something, or is it still we're on?
No, demo sessions. Yeah, today's session is over as of now, and we are going to, continue the next session tomorrow on the same time.
Okay,
So
got it.
yeah, Joan, you have a question. Yeah, please.
Yes, I have another question. Is it concerning the security testing? Are we going to need to program Python for the security testing, or how is it going?
Yeah, Obviously. Look, like it's not a course basically related to security testing, but yeah, we are going to program in Python language to validate the authentication and authorization part, which is a which is a part of security testing as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long is the course duration?
Yeah, 35 to 40 hours.
So this course goes on for a month maybe.
Yeah, and the course will be, the sessions will be of 5 days a week. Any other doubts? Any other queries? Then, if we are good,